if your animals need a vet this Christmas...
Ring YGB's Christmas line, only 448
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And joining me this week is comedian Zoe Lyons, and in her team is comic Christopher MacArthur-Boyd. And facing off against them is stand-up Bruce Devlin, and with him is comedian Laura Lex. In the news this week, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have shared an image from the Norfolk home on their official Christmas card. In fact, they've shared several images, as well as a description of the home, an asking price, and the mobile number of Karen from Purple Bricks. Loganair has launched a new flight between Edinburgh and Glasgow, despite the two cities taking an average of only 52 minutes to travel between in a car. Now, I'm not saying it's a short trip, but the on-flight movie is a TikTok video. And residents of Mull are to be consulted on a plan to use drones for postal deliveries to parts of the island. Royal Mail admitted it was probably a bad idea to give the contract to the US military after one man got back from his work to find his house reduced to a pile of rubble and a note saying, "Sorry, we missed you." Righto, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So Zoe and Christopher, can you tell me our first story?
The four UK nations have decided to allow
The EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier,
to meet other households.
The European Union will begin a new push to rescue
Christmas,
although Boris Johnson
might just have gone ahead anyway.
Zoe, what do you think our first story might be?
The first story, I think, is the one that's on everybody's lips at the moment, which is the COVID conditions over Christmas and whether we can visit our relis or not, and whether you want to visit them or not. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? I'd personally be using the indifference and dithering to sort of go, I don't think your mother should visit this year, do you? So it's now more confusing than trying to start up a Hadron Collider. It's completely baffling. And you do discover there are worse things than getting a virus and a pandemic. It's the brain melt of trying to work out whether you're allowed inside, outside, in a gazebo, outside of a gazebo, with a Westie dog, not with a Westie dog, wearing Wellingtons, only wearing Wellingtons, wearing one Wellington, wearing a Macintosh, not wearing a Macintosh, wearing a Macintosh with a bow tie but not a hat. It's very, very confusing.
That is absolutely right. It is the news that the Scottish Government is to toughen its Christmas guidance, with people being urged not to stay overnight in another house unless it is unavoidable. However, the current limit on no more than 8 people from 3 households meeting indoors in Scotland will remain in place, with the First Minister saying it would not be fair or realistic at this stage to remove that flexibility already in place between the 23rd and 27th of December. Boris Johnson said on Wednesday of this week that a smaller Christmas is a safer Christmas, and dads across the country added, aye, and a cheaper Christmas. So, Christopher, here we are. Christmas is upon us. There are plans to ease restrictions over this period. Do you think they should be held in place, or should we go into some sort of tighter lockdown over that time?
I think Christmas should be cancelled. Mostly because it's not really fair to Santa.
Wow.
You know, he's famously old. He's famously fat. He's in the high-risk category.
Laura, there's talk about reversing the ease of restrictions. Are you on board with that?
No, I've already bought my turkey and I can't eat the whole thing. Please, because I will. If nobody comes now, I will eat all of the supplies I've got, and I can't afford a whole new wardrobe on top of the lack of earnings this year. It'd be a good way to discover, though, whether half a ton of turkey is just enough to cure you, whether COVID just gives up after that.
Now, Bruce, what about you?
I'm just going to wait and see what's what. We might not be Dundee bound. We might be Dundee bound, you never know. Nicola might just say, Bunty, you stay in the house. But Tesco's have said there is no naughty list.
So we're all right.
I think, actually, well, I really think that's Tesco just giving people an open invitation for bad behaviour, don't you? Oh, I murdered him, but there's no naughty list. That's fine. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, yes, and Bruce makes an excellent point there, because it does seem like in some of the statements from the government, the responsibility now lies with us. Zoe, do you think that's kind of fair that it's now been passed to us?
We are not capable. And I love the piece of advice they've given out this week. If you are going to have Christmas dinner with your family, try eating it outside. Now, if you don't want Nana to die from a virus, she's going to get sodding hypothermia if you're going to stick her in a cardigan.
Bruce, what would your dream Christmas be like?
Either a normal Christmas or, do you know what, one where I was able to go abroad. Possibly Barbados, and they could just hook me up to an intravenous drip of Leith gin and just leave me to fry in the sun.
Christopher, if COVID wasn't around, what would your dream Christmas be like?
COVID Christmas, is my dream Christmas. I had to tell my mum not to listen to this because I don't want to hear me talking about it, but I don't actually like spending time with my family. See, when I phoned my mum to tell her I couldn't go home, I had to pretend I was crying like Matt Hancock on Good Morning Britain, sorry, Mum. But secretly I was laughing.
Laura, finally to you, obviously if we can fantasise about a non-COVID world, what would your dream Christmas be like?
I like that bit after Christmas dinner when you're sort of like lying in a starfish on the sofa and you're so full, sort of thinking something's got to come out of my body in a minute, and it's either going to be turkey or the way I feel about my mother.
And of course, there are many rules to follow. The rules allow a bubble of 3 households to stay overnight at each other's homes from the 23rd to the 27th of this month in what will be the biggest easing of restrictions till my uncle undoes his belt after finishing his Christmas kebab.
Love the idea of a Christmas kebab. It's like meat in its own little manger. It's very festive, that.
Yes, new Christmas COVID guidance is the right answer. Zoe and Christopher, you get 2 points for that. Now to Bruce and Laura, what was the other story we were after?
It's this Brexit deal it's good, isn't it?
Yep, it's the right answer. Well done, Laura. Of course, everyone talking about it again this week. It is the news that the UK and EU negotiators have restarted talks over a post-Brexit trade deal in the hope of securing an agreement. It comes after the two sides confirmed on Sunday there had been enough progress for negotiations to continue. Progress has been slow on the Brexit trade talks, but an optimistic UK official said things had inched forwards, which outraged the EU, said no, they'd centimetered forwards. So petty, isn't it? Unbelievable, Laura. So what do you think about this? There's talks continuing, but the 31st is coming quickly. Will we actually get a deal on time?
No, and I think it's designed for that, to be honest. I've got a theory that this is all to appeal to the middle class, because I think if my parents' friends are anything to go by, there's nothing the middle class like more than an extension.
Bruce, what about you? Do we think we'll be celebrating? Is there going to be a deal? Where does this end up?
I don't think there'll be a deal because I don't think anyone knows what they're doing, particularly the man that came out the fridge in order to help with the situation. I like that Ursula woman. She reminds me of a young Maureen Lipman. She's got the willowy figure that clothes love. I don't think she takes any nonsense, to be quite honest with you. No, there will be no deal. There'll be more greeting and bleating and all that kind of stuff. And quite frankly, if it was me and Smidgen in charge of the negotiations, we'd just wander in and say, Ursay, we're not leaving. Let's have a drink.
Christopher, what about yourself? Still no deal? Do you think they'll actually get one done?
Well, the deadline is January 1st, and we're nearly at Christmas, and nobody gets anything done. There's a wee gap between Christmas and New Year.
I don't understand all the... There's a big thing about fishing, and what I don't understand about all of that is, right, do the fish know which water they're in? I don't know. Do they know they're in French water? Do they know they're in English water? I would suggest if we want more fish in our waters, in our British waters, what we do is you get a massive tub of that stuff that you put on top of a fish tank when you're feeding your goldfish all around the Scottish and British coast and the English coast, and just entice more fish into our areas, and then the Europeans can go stuff themselves and buy it back off us. I think that makes perfect sense. I think that makes more sense than anything I've heard coming out of their mouths in the last 4 years.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it does. It makes far too much sense. That's why you'll never be invited to the negotiating table. You know that. What commodity would you use to tempt the EU to make a deal?
I think it would have to be a block of Lauren sausage.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, just to confuse them. It's square and it's a sausage. They would just blow their little mic. They're used to their cylindrical saucisson and wurst, and I think we can broaden their minds.
It would be impossible to walk into Brussels and they've got chorizo and salsicha and bratwurst, and you're like, have you tried Malcolm Allen's steak slice?
It will change your life. Yes, that's right. We're still talking about Brexit. Now, if you'd have asked me what we would still be talking about now from 2016, my money would have definitely been on Harambe the gorilla. Who knew? Brexit's still on everybody's lips. Well done, Bruce and Laura. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of Christmas restrictions and the final stages of the Brexit negotiations. And at the end of that round, the teams are on 2 points apiece. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion. So this week we spoke to actor, writer and tank commander Greg McHugh, as well as comedian and friend of the show Elaine Malcolmson. So Bruce and Laura, what story do you think Elaine is on about here?
I think I've kind of reached a crossroads where I feel I either have to embrace it and accept that they probably know every time I go to the toilet, or I'm going to have to switch off everything, wrap myself in tinfoil and go and live in a hole in the ground. I don't think it'll put people off using it, because if anything, it's comforting to know that somebody's looking out for you.
It's something to do with data, isn't it, on app?
It's the news that apps on all of Apple's app stores will now have to show much more detail about what data they collect and what it's used for. And this news doesn't really concern me much, because I've got an Android who's programmed to hunt down and destroy those who steal my data. So, Laura, it's something that's been an issue for a while about data and what's done with it. Do you think this tracking idea is a good thing?
Why do I care that they're seeing my data? I post everything I do on Twitter. I'm helping them. I'm doing it for them. They don't need to spy on me.
Bruce, do you care what companies do with your data?
A friend of mine won't use a debit card because she's worried that people know where she's been. Well, they've seen you in Morrison's. The jig is up. Grow up.
Christopher, what about you on this? How do you feel about it? Obviously, the news that apps are going to have to be accountable for what they do with our data. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like the nutritional values on the back of a packet of chicken satay sticks, I will read it, but it won't affect my decision in the slightest. I would rather not know the fat content and just be fat and content.
Like Santa.
Yeah. And Zoe, on this one, what do you think about it? So apps are now being told, look, if you take that data, you need to say what you're doing with it. Is that a good idea?
There's nothing in my mind or behaviour that is worth anything to anybody other than myself. Absolutely nothing. I love it when you hear people going, I don't want them knowing what I'm doing, I don't want them knowing what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's because you're thinking a load of rubbish, because you're like most of us, you know. Like me, I will lie awake at 4 a.m. just thinking, you know, can you get bikinis with pockets? That is not going to bring down a Russian state, that sort of information.
Well, obviously we're talking about apps and people use them frequently, so we want to know where the data goes. But if you could design an app to make your life easier, what would it be?
I would like a version of Deliveroo where when you've already ordered 3 dinners that week, a wee hand comes out the phone and it goes on your shoulder and it goes, is everything okay? Because it's Thursday and this is your 4th portion of pakora, so I'm just checking.
Apple has said that they will no longer track people or store personal data via iPhone apps. Not now that they can do it with that chip you get free with it.
Do you know something? I wasn't trying to time you out or anything. I was...
I'm
sorry. I've rolled over onto a dog's toy. The dog's not even in the room. I'll send you a photo of it. I'm really, really sorry. I was just trying to get comfy. And it's a wee penguin holding it. Someone is thrown in. No, I'm really sorry. That was very rude. Sorry, I'm just checking for other things.
I had no idea what that was. I just can't even picture the room that Bruce Devlin is in at the moment, just covered in sort of weird squeaky toys. That was hilarious. Apple has said that they will no longer track people or store personal data via iPhone apps. Not now they can do it with the chip you get free with the COVID vaccine. it was much funnier with a dog toy. I'm not going to lie. Every time. Well done. More detail about our data is the correct answer. 2 points go to Bruce and Laura. Zoe and Christopher, what do you think Greg McHugh is talking about here?
The kind of songs that when they come on, you should really kind of pretend to hate them. Going to go, oh no, not that again. Then before long, you're going, the boy in a and going by. They give you permission to start celebrating Christmas. You're like that. Ah, listen to that. Give me a whiskey. It's breakfast time. And now, woohoo, Christmas.
I think he's talking about Christmas songs.
Yeah, Christmas songs is the correct answer. Well done. It's the news that the annual race to be Christmas #1 is heating up, and it now includes Justin Bieber, who has teamed up with a choir of nurses, doctors and other NHS staff to record a Christmas single. Christopher, Christmas #1s used to be a big thing. Do they still mean as much these days?
I didn't even know who got #1 the last few years, but I looked up. The last 2 years it's been somebody called Lad Baby, and then this year... Lad Baby might get 3 in a row. He does like parodies of existing songs that have rock and roll in the title, but he says sausage roll instead of rock and roll. In the last 2 years he's been #1. How mad is it that Mariah Carey and Liam Gallagher and Taylor Swift might get steamrolled by a guy who, by the way, isn't even a real baby?
Or a lad.
Or a lad.
He used to be,
He should be
though.
called Man Guy because he's an adult man.
What about it then, Laura? Do you still think it means as much as it used to?
I'm sure it does to 14-year-olds. I mean, but who's still buying music, though? I didn't even know that we still had the charts. I thought music was free now.
I think you have to pay... I think you have to pay a little for the downloads, but someone's buying it, Zoe, and there are a few songs from high-profile artists in there for #1 at Christmas. Do you still think we care as much about Christmas #1s anymore?
They stopped being good around 2000, didn't they? So that's why now when you go into any shop around this time of the year, you hear songs from the late 60s to 2000, and anything after that has just not really hit the mark. And some of the couplings that are threatening our Christmas charts this year. Gemma Collins and Darren Day are bringing out a track. Just when you thought this year couldn't get any worse, Gemma Collins goes, I'm going to get a song out, babes. I mean, I've had the misfortune of having to work with her, and she's the sort of woman you can hear thinking. So,
well, look, I think we've got a talented panel here. What would you do to get to Christmas #1?
Well, apparently all you need to do is pretend you're a baby and put sausage roll in a song that says rock and roll. You'll find anybody can do that. Like, I want a sausage roll all night. Or, been a long time since a sausage roll. Or, it's only sausage rolls, but I like it. Anybody can do it. It's not impressive.
By the way, Chris, your singing voice is different. It really is unreal. It's... I don't know what... It's a bit Dame Edna Everage. It's beautiful.
It's Cher before they put the vocoder on top of it.
Yes,
You know
exactly.
Now there's a woman that's been chipped for years.
And vying for the top of the Christmas charts is the correct answer. 2 points go to Zoe and Christopher. You're tuned to a socially distant breaking the news on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Zoe and Christopher, you're first this time. Who is this?
He does it for you. His strength of will is unstoppable, and his faith is unshakable. Because it's not in politicians or political parties, or even in himself. It's in the providence of God.
Wow.
Oh, it's clearly Mary Magdalene. Is it Jill Biden?
Jill Biden is the correct answer. Well done, Zoe. It is Jill Biden, and she's
Dr. Jill Biden.
Well, exactly. She is in the news this week after an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal urging the incoming First Lady, Jill Biden, to stop using the doctor title, and it led to outrage in social media. Many, including public figures and women in academia, found the suggestion from columnist Joseph Epstein sexist. Dr. Jill Biden did release a short written statement in her defence, but as she's a doctor, nobody could read it. So, what do we think then? Dr. Jill Biden.
You know, when you get those drop-down boxes on, you know, if you're filling out things online and stuff, sometimes I just make it up and put stuff in. Captain Zoe Lyons, I've put in a couple of times. Brigadier Lyons. Why not?
What do you think, first of all, Chris? Have you seen much of Dr. Jill Biden? Do you think we're looking at a good First Lady?
Well, she probably won't visit a child detention centre wearing a jacket that says, "I don't really care, do you?" on the back. So, probably an improvement on the last one, to be honest with you.
I think she'd be absolutely fine. I would suggest anti-frizz humidity hairspray because she's going to be out and about in various conditions. So, come on, Dr. Jill, spray that bonnet.
Wow.
It is going to be a bit more boring, isn't it? I don't think I could pick her out of a lineup of previous First Ladies. If I was her, I'd take all of the best conspiracy theories about Melania and just do them. You know, like everyone was like, Melania's got body doubles. If I was Jill, I'd be interviewing other people that look like me right now to just carry on this tradition.
But obviously we're talking about the President-elect Joe Biden, who will take office on the 20th of January. That means that Dr. Jill Biden will become First Lady then too. But if you were First Lady, what changes would you bring to the White House?
Travelators.
Nice.
I've watched all of The West Wing. And it's very good, but I think they must really wear themselves out walking down all those long corridors. So I'd have the moving ones like you get at Disneyland.
So, Bruce, if you were First Lady, what changes would you bring to the White House?
Fizz Fridays, wine weekends, Malbec Mondays, Tempranillo Tuesdays, then we'd have a break. I would also have Kim Kardashian move in because it would give me access to Kanye so I wouldn't have to spend my weekends on the Harvey Nichols website in a raffle for Yeezy trainers. So I would do some social stuff, I would do some good stuff for people I didn't know, and ultimately the trainers are for me.
Right, to you, Bruce and Laura, it's your turn. Who is this and why are they in the news?
These are the times now, people. These are the times we will all remember. Were you there? What did you do? I think you know that I am there for you, and I do care so very, very, very much.
I think that's Tom Cruise.
Why do you think we're talking about Tom this week?
Tom has recently been recorded as having a bit of a tirade on a film set re-COVID practices social distancing.
Tom Cruise is in the news this week after he delivered a furious COVID-19 safety rant on the set of Mission Impossible 7 when crew members appeared to ignore social distancing rules. Mr. Cruise has gone to great efforts to ensure that filming for the latest instalment of the long-running action franchise goes ahead despite strict coronavirus restrictions. Mission Impossible 7 there, coincidentally, is also the name of Richard Leonard's shadow cabinet. Well, now, and what about this, Bruce, in terms of Tom Cruise and having this rant? He tries to portray a bit of a nice guy image. Do you think this goes against it? Or maybe, is it supporting that because he's trying to do the right thing?
Well, it's possibly a combination of the two. Listen, we don't know if he'd spoken to these people, previously. That's the whole thing. Also, we don't know if this has been a publicity stunt to prove that he is sharing and caring and whatever. Personally, and no offence, Christopher, I hate a scuttler. I don't like a short man. It scares me. I think it's frightening. I think he's done very well for himself. And I think he has the right in which to protect the people around him, because that's the thing as well. I'm for it. I'm for it.
He is 5'7", I'm 5'5". No one talks about this aspect of society. You spend your whole life furious because you need a copy of the Yellow Pages just to kiss a loved one. Do you know what I mean? No one is talking about this. And you get this rage sometimes. I totally get it. And is he justified in his actions? Of course he is. It's been a tough year for everybody. 2020 has been hell. But do you know what would have made it all worth it? Mission Impossible 7. And that completely justifies these poor people being screamed at by a tiny multi-millionaire thesp.
So, what do you think? Obviously, there's a passionate rant from Tom Cruise. Some think he went a bit far. Do you think he was justified?
Does anybody even care about Tom Cruise anymore? The only Mission Impossible... he's 58 and still doing Mission Impossible. I was like, I think tying up your shoelaces in the morning must be quite difficult now. Never mind dangling off a helicopter, you silly old little man. Stop it. It's ridiculous.
As we heard from Tom Cruise, he was very upset. Something had touched a nerve for him. What's the one thing that makes you lose your rag?
Just when I've spent like half an hour queuing up for a log flume and then it says you must be this tall to ride, and I'm like,
Zoe, final word on this to you. What makes you lose your rag?
Well, I have to say that actually one of the positives that has come out of this year, and that there are a couple if you can root around for them and look very carefully, is not having people in supermarkets shuffling right behind you as you're on the conveyor belt putting your stuff there. You know, the guys that stand toes to your heel and breathing down your neck and trying to almost sort of ectoplasm their way through your own entity to get past you. Those people. So I've had a year almost without having to deal with them, and it's been lovely. Sometimes I just like swing my arms in a sort of windmill-like effect because of the 2 metres around me, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's marvellous.
Tom Cruise is the correct answer. 2 points go to Bruce and Laura. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. And get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Have yourselves a merry little Christmas.
There's Boris Johnson there, dropping his new Christmas album. Have yourself a merry little Brexit. Can't wait to hear that one. Right, let's go for it. Here we go. Woman does what every day for 20 years?
one weird trick for clear skin that makes dermatologists hate her.
There's somebody that's watched a lot of daytime TV in the last few months. Woman does what every day for 20 years?
Says, darling, could you put that straight in the laundry basket?
Woman does what every day for 20 years?
Fakes interest in the dull lives of her work colleagues.
Too true.
I will stop telling you about my gigs if you want to, Zoe.
I can give you the right answer. Woman does what every day for 20 years? Eats a Christmas dinner. That's the answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's move on to the next one. Here we go. 5,000-year-old what found in a cigar box in Aberdeen?
Is it an old cigar?
Just a really literal answer from 5 millennia ago. The answer actually is that a 5,000-year-old lost Egyptian artefact was found in a cigar box in Aberdeen.
Have yourselves a merry little Christmas.
Ah, there we go. That's it. That's the klaxon. Boris has Johnsoned. And it means at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Bruce Devlin and Laura Lex.
Hey!
And commiserations to our runners-up, Zoe Lyons and Christopher MacArthur Boyd. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Justin, a man from Maine in America has been arrested after chasing McDonald's employees around with a chainsaw. Police said nobody was hurt, but McDonald's should really think more about appropriate Happy Meal toys. Scientists from across Europe have been sent to South America to study iceberg 68A, which is heading for South Georgia. The ship they're travelling on is loaded with supplies, scientific equipment, and, just in case, Celine Dion. And a nativity scene set up by the Vatican in St. Peter's Square is facing ridicule after figures were compared to characters from Star Wars and Wallace and Gromit. The only character that looked vaguely normal was the donkey. Well, that's if you ignore the model of Shrek standing next to him. There it is. The news is broken. Have a very Merry Christmas. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.
My good luck go to the club for the coming years in the Premiership and in the Champions League where it belongs.